Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep on something I think we could all relate to.
Okay.
Those kind of cringy questions
Oh, yeah.
that pop up just out of nowhere in everyday conversations.
Yeah.
You know those ones
Oh, yeah.
that make you just want to disappear?
Absolutely.
Okay, so look,
Yeah,
we've all been there, right?
for sure.
On both sides.
Right.
We've all asked them and we've all been asked them.
Mhm.
But today, we're going to tackle 10 common questions that I think we can all agree
Okay.
just lead to those oh no moments.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack why they're so awkward
Okay.
and, more importantly,
Yes.
how to handle them
I like it.
like a pro.
Love it.
Okay.
All right.
So let's jump right in with a question that seems super innocent,
All right.
but pretty much always guarantees an awkward silence.
Oh, yeah.
How much did that cost?
Ew.
Why is that so cringe?
You know, it's interesting because it really comes down to boundaries, I think.
Okay.
Like in a lot of cultures, personal finances are just considered private. So like asking directly about the cost of something,
Yeah,
it can just feel like you're crossing a line.
totally. Like you're prying into their personal decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like that feeling when you accidentally walk into the wrong restroom.
Oh, God.
You just want to disappear.
Yeah.
But why does that question specifically
Yeah.
give us that feeling?
Well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you just bought a new car, right?
Yeah.
And somebody immediately hits you with.
Oh, yeah.
So how much did that set you back?
Ooh.
All of a sudden the focus shifts, right?
Total.
From your excitement about the car
Yeah.
to this like potentially really uncomfortable conversation about money.
Right.
It makes you feel like you have to justify
Yeah.
your purchase.
Yeah.
Or even like downplay it.
Yeah, like if it was a splurge.
Exactly.
It's like putting a price tag on happiness,
yes.
which just sucks the joy out of it.
It does.
So if someone throws this financial grenade at you,
Right?
how do you dodge it?
Ooh, good question.
Without being rude
Yeah.
or spilling all your financial tea?
I like to think of it as like a verbal swerve.
Okay.
You acknowledge their curiosity without getting into specifics.
All right, I like that.
So you could try something like,
Okay.
oh, it was an investment, but I'm really happy with it.
Mm.
Or I actually got a great deal.
Okay.
You're shifting the focus away from the price tag
Right.
and onto the value that you put on the item.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's really clever.
Yeah.
You're redirecting the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not like shutting them down completely.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
let's be real.
Yeah.
You always have the right to set boundaries.
100% right.
If you are not comfortable with the question,
Mm-hmm.
a polite but firm,
Yeah.
I'd rather not discuss the cost, but thanks for your interest,
Perfect.
is totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
What?
We don't owe anyone
Nope.
an explanation for our spending habits.
I agree.
Let's move on to a question that is just a minefield,
Okay.
especially for couples.
Oh, boy.
When are you having kids?
Loaded question.
It's like everyone's just waiting for you to hit
I know.
start a family button
Right.
on this imaginary life checklist.
Totally.
What makes this question so problematic,
You know,
even when it comes from a good place?
disregards the very personal and often complex journey of
Yeah.
family planning.
It's not always sunshine and roses.
Not at all.
Not everyone wants kids.
Right.
And even for those who do,
Exactly.
there's so many factors.
So many.
Medical, financial, emotional.
Absolutely.
So like asking this question can
Yeah.
put a lot of pressure on
Yeah, it
people
does.
and make them feel judged
Totally.
or inadequate
For sure.
if they're not following
Right.
this like predetermined societal timeline.
It's like this assumption
Yeah,
that everyone's life goal is to have children.
which is just not the case.
It's not.
And for people who are struggling with infertility
Yeah.
or have experienced loss,
Mm-hmm.
this question can be incredibly painful.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we need to remember
Yes.
that everyone has their own path,
100%.
but their own timeline.
Agree.
And it is not our place
Nope.
to pry or impose
Not at all.
expectations.
Nope.
So how can we navigate this question
Yeah.
without creating a scene
Right.
or oversharing
Right.
personal information
Okay.
that we're just not ready to share?
As simple and direct. We're not
Fair.
quite ready to discuss that yet.
Hmm.
But thanks for asking.
Yeah,
Usually does the trick.
I like it.
You're setting a boundary,
Yeah.
but you're acknowledging their curiosity.
So it's all about finding that balance
Exactly.
between being polite
Yes.
and protecting your personal space.
I like that.
Okay, this next one
Yeah.
often feels like a backhanded compliment.
Okay.
Why are you still single? I feel like that question implies that being single is a problem to be solved.
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
It's this like societal expectation
Totally.
that prioritizes romantic relationships,
Yeah.
like above all else.
Above all else.
And it suggests that being single is just this like waiting game instead of a valid and fulfilling life choice.
It's like society hands out these successful life checklists.
Yeah,
And finding a partner is always at the top.
right.
And if you haven't checked that box by a certain age, people start to worry.
Right.
But life is so much more nuanced than that.
It really is.
Being single
Yeah.
is not a consolation prize.
No.
It's an opportunity
Yes.
to define your own happiness
I love that.
and create a life you love on your own terms.
Yes.
It allows for personal growth,
It does.
self-discovery,
Absolutely.
and freedom to pursue your passions
Without compromise.
without compromise.
Yes.
And your relationship status does not define your worth.
It doesn't.
So how do we handle this question
Yeah.
when it inevitably pops up
Yeah, I know.
at a family gathering or even like
Oh, yeah.
in line at the grocery store?
Confidence is key.
Okay.
You could say something like,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this chapter of my life and focusing on my own goals right now.
I like that.
Or, I haven't met anyone who swept me off my feet yet.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's playful,
Yeah.
but confident.
Yeah.
And it subtly shifts the conversation.
I like it.
And remember,
Yeah.
it's perfectly okay to just say, I'm happy being single.
Yeah.
Don't let those societal pressures
Right.
dictate your narrative.
Speaking of narratives, let's talk about a question
Okay.
that is so far over the line. It needs its own warning label.
No, boy.
Are you pregnant?
That is a minefield.
Why is this such a no-go?
For so many reasons.
Yeah.
It disregards body image concerns and the sensitive nature of pregnancy itself.
This is prime example of
Yeah.
think before you speak.
100%.
You never know what someone's going through.
You don't.
And this question can be so hurtful
It can.
and embarrassing.
Absolutely.
And even if someone is pregnant,
Right.
they might not be ready to share.
Exactly.
And it's their prerogative
It is.
to announce it when and how they choose.
Yes.
Plus,
Yeah.
there could be complications.
Right.
Personal choices about family planning, all sorts of reasons why someone wouldn't want to discuss
Yeah.
their reproductive status.
Now got it. Yeah.
So it's just not our place
Nope.
to speculate or inquire.
Not at all.
What's a quick and effective way
Yeah.
to shut this one down?
A simple no, I'm not is sufficient.
Okay.
You don't owe anyone an explanation or a detailed backstory. You can also add a lighthearted
Yeah.
Ignia.
But thanks for thinking I have that pregnancy glow
Okay.
to just like diffuse the tension.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's direct.
It is polite,
Yes,
and it subtly reminds the asker that
Right.
this is a deeply personal topic.
for sure.
Now, before we dive into the next set of awkward questions,
Okay.
I think it's important to pause. And
Yeah. And remember that our goal here is just to be more aware,
Right.
of like the impact that our words can have.
Yeah, it's like that saying, it's not what you say,
Yeah,
it's how you say it.
exactly.
And sometimes with these types of questions,
Right.
it's just better not to say it at all.
I agree.
But
Yes.
we're giving you the tools to navigate all of this
Oh, yeah.
with grace and empathy.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next awkward question.
All right.
This one often feels like a reminder
Yeah.
of society's obsession
Okay.
with youth.
Okay.
How old are you?
Oh, that's a classic.
I think it really shows how our culture,
Uh-huh.
especially in Western societies,
Yep.
puts so much emphasis on youthfulness.
Yeah.
It's like there's this fear of getting older.
Like age diminishes your worth.
Totally. Oh.
It's true. This question, I think, reflects our culture's obsession with youth
Yeah.
and can really make people feel
Yeah.
judged.
We're not fitting into this mold.
Right, like what someone their age should be doing or
Right.
how they should look.
It's like we're all supposed to follow the script.
Totally.
Graduate, get married, have kids, retire.
And then just fade away.
Yeah.
Right.
But life is so much more than that.
So much more.
Age is just a number.
It is.
What really matters is how we live our lives. The
Exactly.
experiences we have,
Yes.
the connections we make, the
Right.
wisdom we accumulate along the way.
I love that.
Instead of asking, how old are you?
Right.
What if we asked,
Yeah.
what's the most valuable lesson you've learned?
Ooh, I like that.
Or what are you most proud of accomplishing?
Those are great.
Those questions invite people to share their stories,
Yeah.
their perspectives.
It's so much richer than just a number.
Right.
Exactly. So how can we deflect this question
Yeah.
when it comes up?
Well, humor is always a good strategy.
Okay.
You could say something like,
Yeah.
old enough to know better than to answer that question.
I like it.
Or,
Yeah.
I'm the same age as my wine.
Okay.
Getting better with time.
I love that.
You're acknowledging the question,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not taking it too seriously.
Right.
You could also redirect
Okay.
and just ask, why do you ask?
Yeah.
It subtly shifts the focus back to the asker,
Okay.
and it often makes them realize
Right.
how unnecessary that question was.
It's a gentle reminder
It is.
that getting to know someone
Yeah,
goes way beyond superficial questions.
it does.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about family dynamics.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
This is a sensitive one.
This can be tough.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk to
Yeah.
insert estranged family member here? Oh, family relationships are complex.
They are.
And we rarely have the full picture.
Of what's going on.
So asking this question
Right.
can be so intrusive
It can be.
and dismissive of real
Yeah.
hurt or conflict.
Absolutely.
It's like assuming that all family relationships are
Yeah.
just perfect
Right.
and any estrangement
Mm.
is just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, that can easily be resolved.
Right.
Right.
But the reality is,
Yeah,
it's often much more complicated
it is.
and painful.
Painful.
And we need to remember
Yeah.
people have the right to choose
Yes, they do.
who they have relationships with,
Absolutely.
even within their own families.
Even within their own families.
Respect those boundaries
Yeah.
and avoid prying
Mm-hmm.
into personal matters that are none of our business.
None of our business.
So if someone asks you this question
Yeah.
and you're not ready
Right.
or willing to share,
Yeah.
how do you respond
Okay.
without being rude or dismissive?
You can keep it simple
Okay.
and just say,
Yeah.
that's a personal matter, but I appreciate your concern.
Okay.
You're setting a boundary
Yeah.
without oversharing.
Without having to give them
Right.
the whole backstory.
Exactly.
It's a gentle way of saying,
It is.
thanks, but this is not up for discussion.
You got it.
And remember, it's okay to just say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comfortable discussing that right now.
Yes.
You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices,
You don't.
especially when it comes to family.
Especially when it comes to family.
Okay, let's move on to a question that is often considered taboo.
Okay.
How much do you make?
Ooh.
This one is right up there with asking about
Yeah.
someone's weight
Right.
or their relationship status.
It's just off limits.
Yeah, it's a violation of privacy,
It is.
and it can make people so uncomfortable.
Totally.
It also reflects this societal fascination
Mm-hmm.
with money and status,
Yeah.
which is not healthy.
No.
It creates all these unnecessary comparisons,
It does. It's like people are trying to size each other up based on their income.
which is just so superficial.
So superficial.
And it's important to remember,
yes.
a person's worth
Mm-hmm.
is not determined by their salary.
It's not.
There are so many other factors
Right.
that contribute to a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Absolutely.
And reducing someone's value
Yeah.
to their paycheck
To a number.
is just so disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
And honestly,
Yeah.
discussing salaries
Mm-hmm.
can create awkward comparisons
It can.
and even resentment
yes.
between friends or colleagues.
For sure.
It's just not a topic for polite conversation.
I agree.
So how can we deflect this question
Mhm.
if it comes up?
You can keep it vague
Okay.
and positive.
Okay.
You could say,
Yeah.
I'm happy with my compensation, or it's enough to cover my expenses
What?
and enjoy life.
I like it.
You're acknowledging the question,
Yeah.
but you're not revealing any personal financial detail.
You're keeping it classy.
Keeping it classy.
And remember, you can always just politely decline
You can.
and say,
Yeah.
I'd rather not discuss my salary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit personal.
A little personal.
You have the right to set boundaries,
You do.
and personal finances
Yeah.
are definitely within those boundaries.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's lighten things up a bit
Okay.
with question number 8.
Yeah.
This one often comes with a lot of skepticism.
Okay.
Is that real?
Hmm.
Whether it's directed at
Hmm.
a designer handbag,
Okay.
a piece of jewelry,
Yeah.
even someone's appearance.
Oh.
This question implies doubt,
It does.
and it can be insulting.
It can be.
It's like you're questioning someone's
Yeah.
integrity
Yeah.
or taste.
Which is never a good way to start a conversation.
Not a good look.
This question often stems from, I think, a
Yeah.
place of insecurity
Mhm.
or the need to put others down
Yeah.
to feel better about themselves.
Right.
So instead of just assuming authenticity and giving a genuine compliment,
Yeah.
they immediately cast doubt.
They do.
And suspicion.
It's like they're looking for a flaw
Totally.
or a reason to dismiss it.
Yeah.
So how can we respond without letting their negativity
Right.
get under our skin?
Confidence is key here.
Okay.
You could just say, yes, it is, and I love it. Or it's real, and I'm happy to share where I got it.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
I like that.
You're affirming the authenticity.
Yeah.
Without the defensive.
You're not letting them bring you down.
Exactly.
And you're subtly letting them know that their skepticism is not welcome.
Not welcome.
Okay, let's move on to a question that's super relevant in social situations that involve food.
Food, okay.
Are you sure you want to eat that?
Oh, the food police.
This question is often disguised as concern, but it's really just unsolicited food policing.
It is.
Which is so annoying. And judgmental.
And judgmental.
It's like the food police are always on patrol.
Always
ready to issue citations for any perceived dietary infractions.
It's like that friend
I know.
who's always commenting on your food choices.
It makes you self-conscious about enjoying a slice of cake or having seconds.
Right.
You know?
I think this question often reflects the asker's own insecurities and anxieties about food.
Yeah.
And they're projecting that onto others.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We all have different dietary needs
and
preferences.
Absolutely.
And it is not our place to comment or criticize what other people choose to eat.
What they choose to eat.
Food can be a very personal and emotional experience.
We can.
What one person considers healthy might be totally different for someone else.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about cultural differences. What might seem unusual or unhealthy in one culture could be totally normal and delicious in another.
Yeah.
So how do we shut down the food shaming without starting a food fight?
I think humor is a good diffuser here.
Okay.
You could say something playful like, oh, absolutely, I've been dreaming about this all day.
I like it,
Or, don't worry, I have a black belt in sheet meals.
Okay.
You're acknowledging their comment, but you're not letting it ruin your enjoyment.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're owning your choices. And you're sending a message that you don't want their unsolicited food advice.
Unsolicited food advice.
Okay, we're down to our last question.
Right.
This one often targets people with unconventional work schedules or lifestyles.
Okay.
What do you do all day?
Ooh, that one.
I feel like this question often has this underlying judgment about productivity.
Right.
That can make people feel defensive.
Totally.
It's based on this assumption that everyone
could
adhere to this traditional 9-to-5 workday.
Right. 9 to 5.
And anything outside of that norm is less valuable or productive.
I think this question reveals the asker's own limited perspective on what they think is productive or successful.
Like, they can't fathom
Yeah.
that someone might find fulfillment and purpose
I know.
outside of a traditional work setting.
Right.
There are so many ways
So many ways
to live a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Absolutely.
And not all of them involve sitting at a desk.
Sitting at a desk for 8 hours.
For 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So instead of asking, what do you do all day?
Right.
What if we asked,
Yeah.
what are you passionate about?
I love that.
Or what projects are you working on that excite you?
Those are much better questions.
Those questions open up so many possibilities.
They do.
Conversation and connection.
Absolutely. Instead of shutting it down.
Yeah, shutting them down.
Right.
With assumptions.
Yes.
It shows genuine interest.
It does.
In getting to know someone.
Yeah.
Beyond their job title.
Absolutely.
Or their daily routine.
Yeah.
So how can our listeners respond to what do you do all day?
Yeah.
In a way that highlights their own unique journey.
They could say something like,
All right.
oh, I keep busy with a variety of things. I'm currently working on a creative project.
Okay.
Or I'm volunteering. Or I'm learning a new skill.
Okay.
Or my days are filled with a mix of...
Yeah.
And then you insert whatever activities bring you joy.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it around.
Yeah.
And say, how about you?
I like that.
You're shifting the focus.
Right.
Away from that.
Away from like the judgment.
Yeah.
That you're not working enough.
Right, you're not working enough.
Right.
You're showcasing your unique interests and passions. And remember, you don't have to justify your choices to anyone.
You don't.
If someone isn't genuinely interested in hearing about your life, you don't owe them an explanation.
Well said.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of our 10 awkward questions. But before we wrap up this deep dive into the sometimes murky waters
don't be murky.
of social etiquette,
Right.
I think it's important to acknowledge that we've probably all asked some of these questions ourselves without realizing how they might land.
Absolutely. It's a learning process.
It is.
We're all constantly learning and evolving in how we navigate social situations.
It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about becoming more mindful.
Yes.
And just creating more positive and respectful interactions.
I agree.
And honestly, sometimes just being aware of these conversational pitfalls can help us avoid them. It's like having a cheat sheet.
Oh, I like that.
For those moments when you're just not sure what to say.
Yeah.
So instead of dwelling on those awkward questions, let's flip the script.
I liked it.
What are some questions that we should be asking?
Ooh, good question.
The ones that spark those meaningful conversations.
Yes.
That show genuine interest and help us connect with people on a deeper level.
It starts with shifting our focus away from the superficial stuff. And toward, shared interests. Values, experiences.
I like it.
So instead of asking, what do you do? What if we ask, what are you passionate about?
Oh, I love that.
It opens up the conversation to something so much more personal and engaging.
Instead of how old are you?
Right.
We could ask, what's the most valuable lesson you've learned in life?
Ooh. I like that one.
Or what's one thing you're really looking forward to right now?
Those are great.
They invite people to share their stories.
They do.
Their perspectives.
Yes.
Their unique brilliance.
Their unique brilliance.
I love that. And that's where the real connection happens.
Absolutely.
When we go beyond the surface and we get to the heart of what makes us who we are.
I agree.
So to our listener, we leave you with this challenge. Go out there and spark some meaningful conversations. Ask questions that matter. Listen with intention. And be open to the unexpected connections.
I love it.
That unfold.
Remember,
a little bit of kindness and consideration goes a long way.
It really does.
In creating a more positive and enjoyable social world.
Absolutely.
For everyone.
For everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the art of navigating those awkward questions.
Oh, those awkward questions.
Until next time.
Yes.
Stay curious and keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.